on the subject of the coal price caps and also gas. I did speak earlier with Stephen Galilee, the Chief Executive of the New South Wales Minerals Council. He says maybe it's not going to have much impact at all.
Well, Ross, I don't think he's talking about much in relation to royalty revenue in the context of coal price caps that are being considered. They are price caps that are being proposed for a small amount of coal that is sold at a much lower price than those export prices that you quoted earlier. He's probably talking about foregoing less than $10 million of royalties in the context of record royalties that he's receiving from the mining sector in this budget year. So in the end, it's up to the New South Wales government to explain that decision. But what it says to me, Ross, is that there's not much royalty revenue that is going to be foregone from this decision because it's low price coal, because it's lower quality coal for our older power stations, and it's only a very small volume of it. And that supports the arguments we've been making all along, which is the coal price cap is not going to have any impact on energy prices that households are paying. It's more of a token gesture so politicians can be seen to be doing something in the context of coal.
So just explain that to me, because I thought that around about 20% of the coal was uncontracted and therefore potentially capable of being exported at those very high prices. And it's that coal that now will be subject to this cap. So to me, that would seem like there was a reasonable amount of money involved in that.
We export from New South Wales about 160 million tonnes of coal, and that's the high quality coal that we send overseas at those very high prices of $600 Australian a tonne right now, although they're starting to fall off. We provide around 20 million tonnes of coal for use here in New South Wales. It's a lower quality coal. It's probably sold at an average price of around $100 a tonne or thereabouts to the generators here. Some of it's provided at costs or just below cost or just over production costs. And 80% of that coal is contracted right now, and about 20% is provided, has been purchased on the spot market. But it's a spot price that's much lower than the global spot price because it's a different grade of coal, Ross. It's not the high quality export stuff that we send overseas. It's a different quality, a lower quality, because our power station fleet is older. And they're not necessarily geared to take the high quality coal that we export overseas. They use some of the lower quality stuff, therefore they pay a lower price.
In other words, effectively you're saying that this is window dressing by the federal government and you don't expect any impact on power prices at all. The 54%, 56% increase in power prices over the next 2 years that was in the federal budget, you'd expect that to go ahead?
There may be some impact from some of the other measures they're considering in the context of gas prices, which do reflect global gas prices, the gas prices paid here, and they have been high and they've remained high. In the context of coal-fired power, coal-fired power sets the price of wholesale electricity probably 15 to 17% of the time overall. The cost of the coal that is used by the generators is relatively low, and we're talking about capping a small volume of that coal that's already supplied at a lower price. So in our view, the coal price cap is an excuse. It's something for politicians to be able to talk about and say they're doing something in relation to coal prices, but it's not going to address the fundamental issues. It's not going to drive down energy prices in itself. Ultimately, what will reduce pressure on electricity prices is addressing the issues of supply of electricity or lack of it at times of high demand. And that's been compounded by the withdrawal of coal-fired power stations over the past few years before renewable energy is ready to take up the slack. And that's going to get more acute as more coal-fired power stations are scheduled to be withdrawn from the grid over the next few years before renewable energy, as example from Snowy Hydro, is ready to replace.
Okay, one final part about this, one aspect of this, is that higher grade coal that you talk about at $600 Australian a tonne that is exported, there is no export ban on that coal going overseas. So it doesn't prevent the big coal companies from continuing to do exactly what they do today and sending that higher grade coal that's uncontracted to other customers around the world.
Well, that's right. Some of those companies, though, do also provide some of their lower quality coal from different mines into the domestic power stations here at those much lower prices. And a few of them do that at a massive discount to their costs as part of their overall level of coal production activity. So, look, the coal export market is very strong, but it's a separate market to the domestic coal market where different coal is used and it is sold at much lower prices. So the coal price cap that they're talking about, it's not going to have any significant impact on electricity prices. It'll distort the domestic coal market unless they can come up with measures to minimise that damage. But it shouldn't disrupt our export sector, which is the vast bulk of our coal production in New South Wales and our state's most valuable export too.
Yeah, Stephen Galilee, Chief Executive of the New South Wales Minerals Council. Always good to chat to you, Stephen. Many thanks for your time today.